The general is in the house, baby. I'm warming up. Warming up, family. Got all these magnificent platforms and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nigga had to spread his energy out to make sure everything is Gucci. That's right. Black Power, we in the house. If you did not know, you should know. You understand, this Sunday, January 26th, the dynamic duo is back in the house. We back in the house, family. Artificial intelligence exposed. Young Pharaoh General said he most definitely black in the motherfucking house again. 18th lecture. You understand what I'm saying? 18. Still going strong, motherfucker. Still going strong. Most definitely gonna be a powerful, powerful lecture. You know what I'm saying? Because we dealing with technology and, we deal with history, but now we got to deal with the future. You know what I'm saying? Because they mapping out technology to help them control black people and all people, but I don't give a fuck, about all people. I'm just worried about my own. But it's a world agenda, and they have a specific agenda for black people as far as dealing with this technology. Majority of niggas, you know what I'm saying, got a goddamn tether right in their hand, and they don't even know it. They follow a motherfucker wherever they go. They know whatever move you make, just with the telephone. You're talking all on the telephone. So that right there, back in the day, police used to have to fill out a file on a nigga. You fill the file out today. They don't need motherfuckers to fill a file out or make a file on your ass. You make a file on your goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? All that walkie-talkie shit, talking all on the phone. Motherfuckers is so emotional. Motherfucker put all their feelings on the internet. How you feel about a motherfucker, even if you wanted to go in the nigga mouth. They didn't already document it. You wanted to go in the motherfucker mouth. You know what I'm saying? We don't keep our mouth closed about nothing today. Soon as we feel a certain way, we run right to the internet to tell the world. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how, majority of these cases is open and closed cases, because the majority of the time a motherfucker then already incriminated their own goddamn self. But most definitely, I'm going to be dealing with a whole lot of shit that niggas just don't even, and the shit done been prophesied. That's the killing part about it, that it has been prophesied. And so this shit is going to be gauged on the level of technology. Not how much you can run your goddamn mouth. You know what I'm saying? How much you can get up here and showboat on the internet. It's going to, the knowledge in industry and technology and laying out a blueprint for the future. To, as we talk about history, we also talk about the future, because history is a blueprint for the future. And if your ass don't recognize that and understand that this is the perpetual replaying out of the same mistakes over and over and over and over, use this shit to your advantage, nigga. Don't be up here bumping at your motherfucking gums and I'm a black power, nigga. You ain't gonna do shit, nigga, but be the next nigga that then exposed his hand and ass will be goddamn behind bars for the rest of your goddamn life. Don't do yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? So, most definitely this Sunday gonna be a very, very powerful experience. Now, black by popular demand. You understand what I'm saying? Black by popular demand. Too many of my family was saying, Sadie, we didn't get a chance to see the making of the white man, Creatures from the Caucasus. And the last time I did it, it was, it couldn't stay up on the internet. That's all I'm going to tell you. Usually when we do live streams, we try to leave it up there for the family for at least 24 hours. You cannot leave this up. Nigga, you got to be in the house or get the motherfucker from kingseti.com You know what I'm saying? You can't do, and this is the shit I'm talking about. We so illusion. Yeah, certain shit I could leave up there. If it's dealing with some shit like Egypt, if it's dealing with some shit like that, yeah, we can leave it up. You dealing with but when you talking about that beast, like I'll get on his ass. You nigga, I'll get on him. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody know when it come to cracking that, just like I say, when you talk about even the elders, you might have seen them and they'll tell you about the white man. And they'll tell you the white man had tails and all this, that, and the third. When it came to motherfucking visually pulling the goddamn curtain back, that's General Sarah motherfucking Sunseti, the making of the goddamn white man. Okay? Don't let no motherfucker fool you to nothing else. You understand? I'm the visual master of the age. You understand? Because I already knew. You could talk to a motherfucker all you want. Oh, they got so-and-so. They do so-and-so. But when you put that shit up there, HD in his motherfucking face, and use the man's own, weaponry, against him, and, his own documentation. That's what I was saying. A lot of times we document our own selves. You know what I'm saying? So they've been putting shit up there for the longest. It's okay for them. It's okay for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But when I started, I first started coming up on the internet, a lot of that shit was just there. I couldn't believe it. I said, I'm doing my research and shit, and one door led to another door it's crazy. You like, when you think this motherfucker has done it, no, nigga, no, it's some old wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, what is this? I'm witnessing this shit. One door lead to another door and another goddamn door. You understand what I'm saying? And so, most definitely this is, like I said, that's why I did the making up of the nigga, the making up the white man, creatures from the caucus. It's necessary, especially because the two most deadly diseases that's wiping niggas out all over the planet is chronic crackatosis and severe niggeritis. You understand? Them the top goddamn, they got a goddamn disease out in China right now. That motherfucker that's like a common cold. That's like a common cold compared to chronic crackatosis and severe niggeritis. And so in order to combat, if you deify this man, and I said, God damn, how you gonna deify this beast? You know what I'm saying? I had to come and show a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You have to show, and then when, like I say, once you understand the nature of a thing, then you can look at the possibilities and the probabilities. You understand what I'm saying? You can look at the possibilities and the probability. And so even when we talk about, you think this beast gonna give your ass some mercy? You understand what I'm saying? You think this beast gonna give you some mercy? And so this is why I had to put it out, because we have too many illusions on what the man is. We got too many illusions on what's the possibility. And so you have to define reality as it was defined by creation. See, you can do, but a thing will by nature do what creation has pre-coded it to do. You understand? You ain't going, it's just like if the sun is moving clockwise in the universe, do you know how hard it would be to reverse the movement of it and have it go counterclockwise? Do you know how hard that would be? You understand? You're redefining creation. You understand what I'm saying? And so to ask this man to do something against his nature, what he was pre-coded by creation to be, is impossible. It's impossible. It's almost asking, like expecting a fish to fly through the air like a goddamn bird. You understand what you're trying? But we have been in illusions for so long and trying to recreate creation. You understand what I'm saying? We trying, and that's his, because of his curse by creation. And so he's disdained creation. You understand what I'm saying? You gonna do me like this? You gonna do me like this? You gonna put me in this predicament? You understand what I'm saying? Where everything else must feel the wrath of my content, my contempt, for creation. Everything must feel the wrath. And so this is because we've been programmed to think just like him, we've also been programmed to mask over the nature of a thing, the probability, the possibilities, and the probabilities. Yes, it's a possibility. You should get reparation. I ain't gonna even say it's a possibility. It's a possibility that you should get it. You understand? I ain't gonna say it's a possibility that you gonna get it, because that's almost damn near impossible for me. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you look at the possibility of you getting it, is that the probability is more close to reality. You understand? Possibilities is like a thought, and we can have all kinds of thoughts. But then when we start to dwindle them down to the realistic probabilities, then we'll have better outcomes, because we won't be fumbling around with the shit that's more likely, not a probability. So February 9th, 2020, creatures from the caucus, 2, very, very brutal. You ain't gonna see it. Ain't nobody done it like the general. I must say that. Nobody done it. Nobody been researching. And if they have done something on it, you can bet, goddamn it, this is where they saw it from, because nobody else has put out a fucking DVD from the culture nowhere else on this level. Okay? So it must be seen. Okay? Now, getting over here, and I'm gonna move through very quickly because I want to get to the topic at hand. You need to get on over to the General's Patreon. I'm warming up, getting, the videos are starting to pile up already on the site. You understand what I'm saying? I'm about to look in to the live stream today. You know what I'm saying? So that, the Patreon is just off the chain. You know what I'm saying? The videos that's on the Patreon is exclusive to Patreon. You're not going to see it nowhere else. And that's why, that's exclusive. And I get real busy on that. The videos that I show on YouTube is not like the videos that I show on Patreon. I show you, exclusive material that, if I put it up here on fucking YouTube, goddamn it, it'll be gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking real lightly right now. You know what I'm saying? I try to upload. Facebook is blocking shit. You understand what I'm saying? I tried to put some shit on Facebook yesterday. Motherfuckers, some goddamn screen came up talking about, this might be in Bob, bitch, fuck you. If it can't go up, then it can't go up. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to put it on Patreon or generalseti.com, SETI University. That's the most complete website with everything except what's on Patreon. Patreon is that, that's my debate page. You're going to see a lot of information on there where I'm debating certain subjects. Usually it's a 15 series, 15 video series, like Islam Decoded. It'll be 15 titles, and they're going to be, very thought-provoking titles. It ain't going to be nothing, nigga, I'm going somewhere that the mind wouldn't even go. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to give that to YouTube, because number one, they don't respect the culture. Number two, you understand what I'm saying? That the work, this is serious work that I'm doing. And I don't put it up here just for the sake of motherfuckers having access. And it's taking me mad fucking, hours to do this research, put it together. So it's extraordinary for the people. So that's where you got to patronize the general for doing this work, because it's going to empower you. You understand? When you want to be able to dig off in the motherfucking chest, you better be on General Cyrus Seti Patreon, because if you studying that goddamn material, You studying it, man, motherfuckers ain't gonna want to fuck with you in no conversation at all. I guarantee it. God damn it, I guarantee it. Because you're gonna hit motherfuckers in the way. They're gonna be like, man, fuck this, man. Let me get on out the atmosphere. You know, this nigga too brutal. So family, get on over there to the General Sarasum Patreon. I got some hot shit I'm working. I know I've been telling people, but you know, certain tiers, you get the live stream, you know, the monthly live stream, you get, you know, the top information. You understand what I'm saying that I'm putting out? You understand, based on the different tiers. And like I said, even though the videos is exclusive, I'm gonna put exclusive live stream, adding that to the platform. So that motherfucker gonna be jumping. Okay, now for all my family out there, you know, and you looking for the products, you understand what I'm saying? King Seti online marketplace, DVD, lecture, t-shirt, hoodies, jewelry, art, we got it all, and we building, and we continuing to build. Everything that I put on there is some shit that I rock. If I wouldn't goddamn rock it, it ain't on there. You know what I'm saying? I don't just go and put nothing up there. I search and shit, and I see shit that I like, that's what I get. I say, you know, I like that. You know, other family gonna like that. And so that's what goes up there. And then hopefully I can get, you know, expand into some literature, you know, getting the literature up there for the family. You know what I'm saying? Working hard. You see all the platforms that the general got up there. Nah, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. We're dealing with today with the African queen empresses of the ancient Egypt's 18th dynasty. A very, very powerful time of ancient Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of times, they don't even like to mention the fact. Because, you know, when you're talking about these, they are queens. You understand what I'm saying? But the correct term, where my window? Here you go. The correct term is empress, okay? Because they're not dealing with the fact that these sisters are sovereigns of an empire. You understand what I'm saying? Sovereigns of an empire, okay? And when you become a sovereign, you're a queen or a king in your own nation. You understand what I'm saying? But when you conquer other nations and you establish other nations outside of your own nation, then you are the emperor of that nation or colony. So at the time of what we call the 18th dynasty, which started the new kingdom, okay, that's the new kingdom. The new kingdom started with the king Ahmose the first. And then you have his queen, Ahmose Nefertari. Let me get this up so I can make sure we bright up here. You understand? Queen Ahmose Nefertari. And let me get some things up here. Let me work out right quick. Because we about to do the damn thing. Ahmose Nefertari, matriarch of the 18th dynasty. Okay? Now, it was also at the end of the 17th dynasty. Now, we talking about 18 dynasties. You know, I got to be clear about that. If y'all go to the earlier, if you go on my Patreon, I got where I dealt with the chronology, just destroying the chronology of the Bible. It's the series, The Bible Decoded. And I dealt with what we call the Abydos Kings list. You understand what I'm saying? Now that's a king's list that's at the temple of Abydos, built by Seti Menma'at Seti the First, which is my spiritual father. He built that temple, or started to build that temple, in the 19th dynasty. But what you're gonna find on the walls in that temple is a dynastic chronological list. On that list is 76 kings. It starts from Narmer, the first king, and it ends with Seti the First himself, which is 76 kings. And over the chronology, even if you use the Caucasoids chronology, that's 2,000 years. Now, even though you got 76 kings, you understand what I'm saying? Those are the profound kings. It was more than that, but some of them wasn't recognized as the great kings. So you had more than just 76 kings. You see what I'm saying? So when you talking about the 18th dynasty, you understand? Even though we talking about, for many, it's the heights of ancient Egypt. But damn, when I look at them pyramids, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to say what the greatest period of ancient Egypt was. You understand what I'm saying? It's hard to refute that period between the old kingdom, between the third and fourth dynasty, when you had the pyramid of Imhotep and Zoser. Then you got the megalithic pyramids of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. And then, so that's a very because when you talk about the greatest structure of all time, you're talking about the pyramid. And so, but for many, they say the 18th dynasty, the new kingdom, was the most powerful because the lineup of kings and the megalithic temples and so on is just as glorious and comparable in splendor to the Great Pyramid. The pyramids were built in the old kingdom. And that's just, that's mind-boggling because most cultures, you would think as they progress, they would, the structures will become larger and larger and larger. But in this instance, the largest and most megalithic structures of ancient Egypt were built in the earliest periods. You see what I'm saying? So that's mind-boggling. Now, when we look at Amos Nefertari, she's always depicted very, very dark. You see what I'm saying? Every time she's depicted very, very dark. And she is the matriarch. She is the matriarch of the 18th dynasty. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about King Tut, you understand what I'm saying? Tutankhamun. A lot of people, these crackers is putting up this fraudulent shit on the internet. You understand? Talking about this boy white and shit and this, that, and the third. And this is Tut's. This would have been, I got it was his great, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 greats. It might be 3 greats. You understand what I'm saying? Great, great, great grandmother. But I got a line up that's going to explain all of that. Okay, so Hatshepsut. This was her great, great, great grandmother. You understand what I'm saying? Coming back to this African goddess. And, many of the empresses, and I'm going to call them that. The reason why they do not want to call these African women, black women, African women, empresses, because at that time, when you're talking about when this sister ruled, you're talking around 1700 BC, according to the short chronology. According to the short chronology, around 1700 BC, before the crack. You see what I'm saying? So when you dealing with 1700 BC, the first European civilization, the Greek civilization, has not even appeared on the map yet. You understand what I'm saying? And these African goddesses were ruling empires all throughout what we quote unquote we talk about Asia. You understand? Founding many of the civilizations across this world. And India, the Africans started that. The Naga Kushites started that. In Greece, and before there was Greece. See, we don't want to deal with the fact that these Ethiopians had extended their empire into Europe. And so Greece, when you say Greece, that's the shit that the Europeans called it. But the colonized civilization that was there before they got there, see, that's what we not understanding. You see what I'm saying? So you see right here, You see right here, these is other depictions of the African empress. And she was also a goddess. You know what I'm saying? They have temples that to Queen T, which is also in the 18th dynasty. That's her grandson's wife. You understand what I'm saying? So when you start talking about the 18th dynasty, you're talking about the most profound African royalty, women and men, that ever ruled on the planet. Ain't no other civilization can even compare. Stop playing with me. Don't even play with me. You understand what I'm saying? When you start seeing the megalithic structures that these African kings and queens left, ain't no comparison. I'm sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even get in no argument. You understand what I'm saying? With nobody about none of it, because most of them niggas is in a book. If they ain't got, see, Egypt don't need no goddamn book, even though the literature is dead. It got so many megalithic structures, so they don't need no book to, what goddamn King Solomon temple? Where's any goddamn tomb of any goddamn Greek king on the planet? People don't talk about that. The Greeks is no different than the goddamn Hebrews. They got all these kings they say rule. And you know what I asked the first motherfucker talking about ancient Greece? Do you have a tomb of any of these motherfuckers? Not one been found. You know what I'm saying? Even the Romans, you ask the motherfucker, you got a tomb? You understand? Yeah, they got a couple of things. But that, you know, even in that scope, many of the structures that was built by Rome was built by Africans under slavery. You understand what I'm, just like today, America is nothing but a replica of Rome. But you ain't gonna get no credit. You ain't gonna get no, you gonna assume that Rome is somehow an all European culture. And they have just as much slavery in Rome as they had in goddamn America. So when you look here, you looking at, you know, the depiction, she's always shown black as midnight. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you come down here at the bottom, that's Ramesses' wife, Nefertari II. You understand what I'm saying? And even then, you know, you got to look that the coloration has technically been removed. You know what I'm saying? If you go down, I got many pictures where they going down in the tombs now, repainting and shit, and these stinking motherfuckers will lighten the pictures up and all this, that, and the third. But then when you understand that almost Nefertari, okay, the matriarch of the 18th dynasty, she was the one that, you know, was foremost in the moot, which is the vulture. You see the headdress, you know what I'm saying, of the vulture. That's the goddess Moot, which is the wife of the supreme deity Amen. Okay, so Amen and Moot was the divine royalty of spirituality in the new kingdom. If you go to the old kingdom, it was Ptah and Sekhmet. They was the supreme. And so, you know, during the middle kingdom, there was, you know, rearranging the government. And so they was trying to work it out in the middle kingdom, even though there was much grandeur, much splendor that was even constructed in the middle kingdom. But then when the new kingdom came, then you seen the emergence of Amen, because those kings and queens that took over in the 18th dynasty was out of what we call Waset, which was the upper Egypt, you understand, right around the Nubia area, you understand, and in that area, Amen and Moot was the supreme deities. And when those kings took over the total rule of ancient Egypt, they became the supreme god and goddess of all of Egypt. Not all in the Egyptian empire, all over the world. So, you know, when you're talking about Ramesses, you're talking about Ramesses II. He was in the 19th dynasty, and you still see the effect of almost Nefertari. From that point on down to the end of, ancient Egypt, she was the most venerated African goddess, empress of all of Egypt. Matter of fact, even before. And what's even so crazy about it, when they doing the research, Amos Nefertari is the most documented sovereign of all Egyptian sovereigns, male or female. That's how powerful she was. When they get going down into the soil and they, Amos Nefertari just come up all the time. So she is the goddess of goddesses in ancient Egypt. And like I said, she was the foremost empress, queen that brought the worship of Mut in, you know what I'm saying, into the Egyptian culture on a nationalistic level. Let me come down. And so, we got to understand that many of these African goddesses and many of these African empresses, you understand? Again, empress. Some people say that shit. No, they were empresses. You understand what I'm saying? They ruled over many nations. Egypt was an empire at that time. But they hate to say that about an African woman because the European civilization ain't even got started yet. And these African women got their hand all over the world, commanding nations to bow at their will. And so this became the reflection of what we call the Black Madonnas all over the planet. So when you look here, you see this is an actual Nubia. This is who she was. This is where she came from. She came up out of the south. And so this is not the only one. I want people to understand that. There is many depictions of cold Black Africans in royalty as kings and queens all over the walls of ancient Egypt, but through the pillaging, through the oppressor, dictating what can be seen, what tombs could be gone in. Many tombs, they won't even allow you to go in because they in there putting that work in. So you won't be able to see, you understand what I'm saying, what is actually on the wall. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about even Nefertari II, which is Ramesses, we're going to get down to her. When you go to the Valley of the Queens, you got the Valley of the Kings, and then you got the Valley of the Queens. When you go in this goddess's tomb, carved down, it was more splendid than any. Do you understand? I'm not hyping or nothing. When you go in Nefertari II's tomb, her tomb is greater than any white king ever in history. You can't, like I said, and so to have an African goddess got a split, and if you talking about, carved down into the mountains, you talking about 3 and 4 levels, not just one level. You go downstairs, come to one level, you got a room on the left and a room on the right, then you go down some more stairs to another level. It's like a skyscraper under the ground. Just like you go up in the elevator, you just going down, and the different floors are carved deeper and deeper into the ground until you get all the way down into the heart of the tomb, and there you will find the sarcophagus. You see what I'm saying? Let me come on down. Now, right here, this is Queen T. You understand what I'm saying? Which was the wife of Amenhotep III. Matter of fact, let me get directly to the lineage so I could tell you, from Nefertari, I think Queen T was married to her great-great-grandson, Amenhotep III. I'm going to get this lineage up right now. Here you go. So you see right here, this right here just the these is the kings. Okay, so you see right here, she was married to Ahmose the first. Okay, and so on here they say 1576, 1551. I say 1700. Okay, now where's Amenhotep the third? Okay, right down here, you this, so you talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so it was 8 generations between Amos Nefertari and Queen T. You talking about 8 generations, but Amos the first was married to Amos Nefertari. Nefertari meaning the most beautiful, and wife, divine wife of Amos. Okay, and so you, like I said, when you come down to Amenhotep, matter of fact, no, wait a minute, that's wrong. Yes, it is. It's right. Queen T was married to Amenhotep III. And then you got Akhenaten. You understand what I'm saying? It's also in the lineage from Amos Nefertari. You see, Tutankhamun is also in the lineage of Amos Nefertari. You understand what I'm saying? So you talking about Hatshepsut. Now you see, you got one from Amos Nefertari, you got 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You understand what I'm saying? So 1, 2, 3. So Amos Nefertari was the 4th great grandmother of Hatshepsut, who many consider one of the greatest, the greatest, but I don't put her before Amos Nefertari. I don't put her before Amos Nefertari, So let me go back up here. So you see right here, this is 8 generations between Amos Nefertari to Queen T. You got 8 generations. It's still black. It's still black. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't changed at all. You understand? And so we have to understand, in ancient Egypt, black was the color of divinity. That means that they had reached the divine, worship, that they had temples. When I say that they was goddesses, I'm not saying that, just literal. I'm talking about reality. They had temples where they worship. And so when you seeing, you talking about African women ruling empires on this level, a motherfucker can't say shit to no black woman about, how because she done this shit before. She done it on a global level. You understand what I'm saying? And it's an extension of the house because, she is foremost the head of the household. The man is the head of the house and the woman is the head of the household. The man is the external power while the woman is the internal power. Okay? She there with the babies. You understand what I'm saying? You out. You doing what a man do on the external of the house. Even though you still got, say in the house, you not running the house. You can't say what, because you doing the external work. She's doing the internal work. So when you talk about the house, you talking about the law, you talking about my yacht. This is how we gonna run this house. I'm here, I'm taking care of this shit. This is how we gonna do this. You understand what I'm saying? You take care of that, and so she was the one that regulated that information. You see what I'm saying? And that law was divine. And so when you're talking about extending from the house to government, you understand what I'm saying? You the man now. You supposed to get out here. But remember, I taught you every goddamn thing that you know, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get too goddamn big. This is how you do, certain shit. I know you you got ideas of your own, and I'm not gonna hold you by no rein. But understand, when you start stepping out a certain, customs, and this gonna lead you astray, my nigga. This gonna lead you astray, my king, my son. And so that's what they was there for, all the time, being the most senior advisor. And many times, if they voted as a sisterhood, more likely you would have to abide by that, because the lineage went through the woman. You understand what I'm saying? So if they came together, that's almost like, the goddamn, you talking about the king, then you got the senior council, you understand? And the senior queen or the senior elder African woman of the family had a vote in that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a power that man could contain. He had to take it into serious consideration to sit on that throne. You understand what I'm saying? And if you got above and beyond, they would have your ass removed. You understand what I'm saying? They would have your ass removed. Okay? So you see right here again, Amos Nefertari, a matriarch of the 18th dynasty, took African fashion to the heights never seen before. The most powerful woman in the ancient world. So when even under Amos Nefertari, the queens and empresses became so more regularly displayed on the walls. And they were always shown in the most exquisite of linen, a lot of the jewelry that they still in the day. And putting up their own, they still in the designs from ancient Egypt. So again, we talking about industry. We talking about creativity. We talking about engineering. We talking about at a time when African people control their own land. So you didn't go down to the hook-nosed Jew to get no little diamonds or no rubies or nothing. You understand? You was, mining in your own soil, pulling up the diamonds, pulling up the rubies, pulling up the sapphires. And so with all the exquisite, precious metals and precious minerals that's out there that we love, we were mining. And so no other kings, no other queens on the planet could even compete. Not only because you had to have the level of engineering and the technology to go down in the ground. Them motherfuckers was, did not have that technology. So when you go down in the tombs of the kings and queens of ancient Egypt, ain't no telling what you're gonna pull up out of there. That just show you the extent and the level of technology that our people had, developed over hundreds of thousands of years that cannot be duplicated by nobody else on the planet. Again, you see here, you see Amos the first, and you see Amos Nefertari. Now, many times, and they both African. You can have a brown-skinned man, brown-skinned woman, darker-skinned man, darker-skinned woman. That's how we have, because in our people, we create all hues of the color spectrum. You understand? Even white, but that's an albino. I'm not talking about no peekaboo. They do not come from us, and I'm sick of motherfuckers, and that's why you got to see the creatures of the Caucasus so we can straighten this shit out. So you see here, again, we went over that, and this one right here, I won't use this one right now. You understand what I'm saying? But again, I'm gonna show you some of the other great queens, empresses of this dynasty. And so when you see, I'm not going to show all the megalithic structures. See, this is for, other platforms. You know what I'm saying? This is for other platforms. But giving you the great names so you could go do heavy research. So when it's time for you to show your babies these, when they, who is great African queens? And, and you go and look them up and you make sure that you most definitely say Amos Nefertari. Because she, as far as I'm concerned, she's the greatest African queen of all time. Okay? The greatest African queen of all time. Because all the other ones come from her. When you talk about Queen T, you talk about Hatshepsut, you talk about Nefertari II, y'all can't put them before Amos Nefertari. Now, just to show you, this is at Karnak. This is at where they built the great temple to the goddess Mu. You don't go nowhere and you see no structures. Now, even though they didn't went in there and tore that structure down. You know what I'm saying? You see it today. You see the lake. You see what I'm saying? And you see the lake, and you see the outline. you see the temple of Ramesses III. Now, it wasn't as big as the temple of Amen, but you know, these two, this show you the extent of the temple of Mu. And there's a road that leads down to the great temple of Karnak, which was the temple of Amen. So this is the divine couple. And they would have what they call the Opet festival. Inside of these great temples is what they would have arks. And an ark is a boat, a divine boat in which the deity, if you look in Denderai, you will see the gods and goddesses sailing across the celestial Nile. Okay, and so they would have ceremonies where the two arks, the Ark of Mu and the Ark of Amen, would meet. And this is the celebration of the divine marriage of Amen and Mu. And it was called the Opet Festival. And it was the greatest festival in all of ancient Egypt. So right there, that shows you something about marriage, okay, in ancient Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? It was one of the most sacred institutions in all of African culture. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want to, we don't want to represent the greatness and the sacredness of marriage in ancient Egypt. Okay? Now, this would be another, just to show you the enclosure. And you see Amen. So you got temples inside of this temple. This is the wall. You got the temple of Mu. You got the temple of Amenhotep III, and that right there is the husband of Queen T. You understand what I'm saying? Then you got Ramesses III on the outside. You got Kamutep, and the shrine bark, and so that's where the ark would have been right there. You understand what I'm saying? And you see the avenue of sphinxes. Now, from this is the road that leads to the temple of Karnak, which her husband, Mu Amen, that would have been his temple. And so that ark would have came out and it would have sailed down there, okay? Because the Nile, you see the Nile is right over there. So you see the ark would have been somewhere up in here. And so they would have had you can see some of the, right there, you can see some of the sphinxes that's still there. And so the ark would have came out, went to the Nile, and it would have sailed down to the temple of Amen, which they call Karnak. Now, another great queen, one of the greatest, and many say that Hatshepsut was the greatest queen of all time. You understand what I'm saying? Up under her rule, so many, queens was, African women were put in positions that they had never been put in before under her rule. So this was the new kingdom was a grand time for the African woman's glory. You know what I'm saying? They was holding so many positions, you know what I'm saying, that had not been previously held, and so, this is the, like I say, maybe Hatshepsut was how many generations back? Okay, she wasn't that many generations back. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're talking about the fourth great grandmother. The fourth great grandmother, this African woman right here, was the fourth great grandmother to Hatshepsut. You see what I'm saying? Now, there was controversy with Hatshepsut because she took on the title of Pharaoh. Now, many people looked at that as, something that she should not have done. Many people feel that she should have ruled as a queen. You understand what I'm saying? And when we talk about the Abydos Kings list, Seti the First, did not put Hatshepsut on that 76 kings list. You can see she got the beard, she put on the beard. Now, as it was taught to me, you know what I'm saying, at that time, you know, she had to take the position of Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there was certain, you know, certain things that was afforded to Pharaoh that she, in order for her to rule that nation in the way that she needed to, she had to take that position. You know what I'm saying? For me, again, I follow, you know, what my ancestral father said he the first. If he didn't put her on there, then there was a reason for that. It wasn't that they did not venerate the African woman. It was not that the African woman didn't have balance of power. But even today, when you see her dressed up as a man, you get the question, was she a lesbian? You know, you get it. Even though we know that she wasn't, because she had children, and we know who her lover was. Her king was Senmut, which was her architect. That's who she had her daughter by, Senmut. So we knew she, but again, it causes us to ask questions that we should not ask. You know what I'm saying? We should not have to ask that question. So that alone is the only reason why she was not put on the king's list. Not that she, if you talking about the top 5 king or royalty of all of ancient Egypt, arguably Hatshepsut is in the top 5. Arguably, she's in the top 5. Most definitely, she's in the top 10. Okay? Most definitely, she's in the top 10. Arguably, in the top 5. When you look at the production of what she produced while she was sovereign of ancient Egypt. Okay? The things that she constructed. How many temples was built. The exquisiteness of the temples. Okay? Let me show you. Let me see. I'm quite sure I got. Well, I'll come back and show you her funerary temple where architects, even to today, civil engineering, you have to study the funerary temple of Hatshepsut because so many structures of today were designed off of her temple. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's how, you know, great this African queen was. And when you look at when you compile all the things that she constructed, even what we call the unfinished obelisk, which, was carved in Aswan. It wasn't raised because there's a crack was in it. But when you look at the level of how she was building, if they would have raised that obelisk, it would have been the largest obelisk ever constructed. It would have been the largest stone monument ever constructed of one piece of granite. You see what I'm saying? And so this is the level that the African goddess was building on. And here you see Queen T. This is the 18th dynasty. Empress T. And you see Amenhotep III. And you can already look at that. You know what I'm saying? You can look at this brother. You understand what I'm saying? Not just look, but, the practice, but you can look at and see that they African people. Okay? Ain't no goddamn doubt about that. You see what I'm saying? And this is Akhenaten's mother and father. And this is Queen. And when we talk about Tut, see, I had to crack motherfucker. When you look at King Tut, this is his grandmother. How the fuck is you gonna have this Peckerwood up here talking about? This is King Tut. This is King Tut. And here the man, this man's grandmama and granddaddy. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. I mean, the shit that Peckerwood's attempt to teach a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? And the facts is right there staring in that man in your face. You know what I'm saying? Only they don't think that our people know the lineages and this, that, and the third. And so if they think they'll put up any goddamn thing. You understand what I'm saying? And so you see, and I love this. This was in the Cairo Museum. Soon as you come in, you got this great statue of Amenhotep III and Queen T. And he really loved this African woman. You understand what I'm saying? This was like the first time where, the African woman was depicted And I'm just saying, you know, we're talking about this is a greater time in history, you know, where they were able to carve these megalithic statues. That don't mean that the kings didn't have equal love, but we're talking about, you know, we've reached a stage of development. You know what I'm saying? Where we carving statues on megalithic level. This is one of the first time in history where the African woman was shown equal in size. Many times you will see them smaller or whatever, but here you see Queen T is equal with Amenhotep III. You understand? He didn't look at her as no concubine or she had as much power and you can see all the things that he built for her, and you know all the writings, you know, speaking highly of her. That if she told that nigga to jump, he probably jumped to the damn moon. This is what I'm telling you. You understand what I'm saying? That's the power that she had. And when Amenhotep III, in his latter ages, got ill, Queen T took over as, you know, what many people want to say, Secretary of State. But I ain't gonna even say Secretary of State. She was ruling in his place at that time, to where emissaries all over the world was writing directly to Queen T. You understand? They knew that he was, you know, having ailments, that he was sick. So they knew that she was the one that they needed to get in contact with. She was the head of state. You see what I'm saying? And you see it right there. And you see her, you know, they daughters down here. You see what I'm saying? You can see the love. You see the embrace. He's the king. And another thing about Amenhotep III, he was the grand master of the craft. He was the grand master of what we call, quote unquote, the Egyptian mystery system or the educational system. He was the one that could start. Outside of Ramesses II, Amenhotep built more constructions in ancient Egypt than any other king. When you talk about the Temple of Luxor, even on the Temple of Karnak, this great king right here was responsible for starting the construction of all of that. And kings came after him and added on to it. So you see right there that divine embrace. You see, this is love. This is love. You know what I'm saying? This is love. This is what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So let me come on. And you see, again, the headdress for all the sisters out there, you know, they wearing what they call the braids. You know what I'm saying? And all this is when this started. It started even before that. But we talking about how sisters rock it today. You know, Egypt became way more exquisite. You see what I'm saying? You started seeing these hairdresses, and you know, these hairstyles have become extremely exquisite. You know, to how we doing it today. You know what I'm saying? They taking great care. And you know, you got hairdressers and all of that. You know, it's, you know, being trained, and just that alone, you see again, you see right in there, you see that moot, you see the vulture wing. And so that came in with almost Nefertari. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why you can't put none of them before almost Nefertari, because they follow in her divine footsteps. You understand what I'm saying? She's the matriarch. She set the precedent. Okay, let me come on down. We can see right there again that African woman. You see her. She was the probably, you know, it's hard to say. You know, you got Amos, who I say is, you know, but then you had Hatshepsut, who I probably would put number 2 behind Amos Nefertari. But damn, then you got Queen T. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna show you a couple of things. And you know, this was you know what, I can't do it because but what I can show you was that the bottom piece was a statue of Queen T. You see what I'm saying? And the head was chopped off. You understand what I'm saying? But as I was searching the internet and I seen, this particular sister, I took her face and put it on top. And I mean, it fit. Well, let me put it back like it was. Okay? That's how it was. It fit right on top of the statue to show you that this was an African woman. Ain't no goddamn doubt. Don't let nobody fool you. We can look right at the statue and see who she was. And you can see her son. This is Amenhotep III. You can look at his lips. You understand what I'm saying? You can see that he also, you understand, and you can see the heads of which we see in many styles all over Africa. The man's Bantu tribe, okay, or the Congo. You see how they put them rings around the head. You understand what I'm saying? To make these elongated heads. You see what I'm saying? So you see many of the African traditions in the Egyptians. So a lot of people say the Egyptians, well, nigga, you have to study the culture. And when you understand the culture of Africa, then you can see many of the traditions that you find in the South came down the Nile River into Egypt. And, and we talking about from all over Africa. We're not talking about just up the Nile. We talking about from South Africa on down. Now, I'm gonna go right here, and then we'll go into almost Nefertari II, and we'll end on that note. Now, a lot of people don't understand that this right here is a depiction of Nefertari. Of Nefertiti. Okay. Now, a lot of people, they never showed that particular depiction of Nefertiti. You understand? Because she looked just like all the other Africans. She looked just like all the Africans. And then they tell us under the rule of Akhenaten and Nefertiti that they banned the worship of all the other gods. And you see right here that she got on the headdress of the god Amen. Right there. Got on the headdress. And you could come, many of these, they want to say that the man had breasts and all. Many of them depictions is Nefertiti. And you understand what I'm saying? And they want to try to, you can see it right there. You can see the feminine dress. That's Nefertiti with the headdress of Amen on, and then you see the ram's horns. That's also Amen. So how is it that they say that Akhenaten and Nefertiti banned the worship of all other deities other than Aten, when we sitting right here and looking at the plumes of Amen worn by this guy? And you can see the headdress that you see here. You can see that's the headdress. So they never show you this African-looking Nefertiti. They won't, and this is from the times of our, of the original people. Now, this is some bullshit. How is this, and you look at, these is the children of Nefertiti right here. This is one of the children, daughters of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. This is an original sculpture right here. So the question becomes, how the fuck is this goddamn European looking ass woman producing children that look like this? Come on, man. Somebody got to wake the fuck up out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to go back to the original carving. This shit right here is a fake. That's a fake. That's a goddamn fake. And nobody, that ain't no damn Nefertiti. That's Nefer-Sleepy. That's Nefer-Sleepy. That ain't Nefertiti. So when you look at this depiction of Nefertiti, you can see that this is the mother of that daughter right there. Not this woman, right? This wicked woman right here. Nah. We coming down to the 19th dynasty, and this is the wife of Ramesses II. You talking about you talking about almost 1,000 years later. You understand what I'm saying? You talking about almost, not 1,000, but about, you talking about from, say for instance, 1,700 to about 1,200. So you're talking about 500 years, but close to 500-600 years between almost Nefertari and Nefertari II, which is the wife of Ramesses II, who ruled around 1,200 BC before the crack. And you see right here, she takes on the name of Nefertari. You understand? Showing you that they worship the great matriarch. That they worship the great matriarch. And Ramesses at the temple of Abu Simbel. You see right here that this is the temple to Nefertari II. And you see her right there as Aset. You see what I'm saying? That's Nefertari II. This is the first great temple in all the known humanity of a megalithic temple built on this level to a woman. Ever. Goddamn 2,000-3,000 years before the Taj Mahal. And everybody talk about the Taj. Fuck the goddamn Taj Mahal. This right here is 3,000 years before the Taj Mahal. Well, Ramesses II built this, and he, just like Amenhotep III, was supremely in love with this woman. You understand what I'm saying? These men is building all type of megalithic structures for the African woman. So I don't want to hear no motherfucker talking about black man on the. Yes, he do. We done fallen from grace. We got to use our history as a blueprint. You understand what I'm saying? To get back up on our throne. Your goddess is your throne. You ain't got no empire. You don't have no kingdom. You don't have none of that. You understand what I'm saying? Until you have the health, protection, and defense and a thriving African woman. If you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. Nigga, you ain't even got no dynasty, because she gonna birth your dynasty. And so only a weak nigga thinking and trying to compete with the woman and, talking, no, nigga, you falling off, nigga. You falling off. And when you fall off, nigga, that leaves the nation vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying? That leaves the nation vulnerable. When you take care of your woman and your child and your elderly, you defend that land, and she's gonna, in the same veneration, she love you. She gonna teach them children to back their daddy. You understand? As long as he back their mama. You know what I'm saying? She gonna teach them babies, you understand, to back their daddy as long as that man back they mama. That's it. And that's the balance. Soon as you step out of that, you ain't taking care of the land. You ain't defending the land. You ain't defending the woman that nigga, you got to go. And that's rightfully so. Get your bitch ass up out of here. You're not ready. Yeah, you're not ready. You see what I'm saying? That's real talk. You got your baby. You love your babies. You understand what I'm saying? You love you, they love you, you know what I'm saying? And that's love, that's black family love, nigga. That's what we need. We don't need this garbage. We don't need the competition. We don't need nothing. We need unity, working for one cause, liberation and upliftment of the black family. We don't need this bullshit. We don't need these fake blueprints out here. Ain't nothing gonna work outside of that. I can tell you that. You can go on and be a silly nigga if that's what you choose. There is no way we gonna rise up out of without a powerful unit of which we call the black family. Everybody in unison, working for the benefit of each other. Nobody trying to outdo. Everybody knows they place, they power. Everybody is powerful in the universal code. The woman has her balance in her place. The man has his back. Even the children have their divine balance in place in the cosmic perspective. Ain't no goddamn body without a place in this blueprint for divinity and uplift. So when we come back down, we looking at the God Nefertari II, and not. This is the temple I'm talking about. Okay, this is her temple in the Valley of the Queen. This is gonna be my last part of the presentation. And so you can see, you coming down. See, I'm only showing you these steps right here. If you go up, this will probably take you to the surface. You know what I'm saying? So when you get down here, this is like the first level. And so you got all type of, and now understand, this underground. See, and this is why I was saying, if they don't show you that our people was some of the first structures that we were building were in the inside of the mountains. When you talk about Lalibela, even when you're talking about even this temple, right, it's carved out of the mountain. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of time when we see the pyramids, people say, how did they build that? They jumped from nothing to pyramid. That's a goddamn lie. We did not jump from nothing to pyramid. If you go up the river, up the Nile, there are many, many mountains. And so the Africans carved in the mountain. Okay, but when we got down into Egypt, the lower parts of Egypt, there was no mountains. So the stone had to be carved and brought in. When you look at Egypt, Egypt is a replica of up the river. But the only thing is, it's constructed in stone. Okay? We didn't have, so we were duplicating heaven on earth. You understand? Because the up the river was called the land of the gods. This is where the gods came from. That's why you go in the temples, they always got an ark in the temple. Because the gods sailed down the river. You see what I'm saying? From up out of the mountain area, the upper regions of Africa. You see what I'm saying? So again, even when you go into the temple, you'll see the columns, the papyrus columns and the palm columns and the lotus column. And then when you start to go up, you see all them swamp regions where you see the palms. And so the colonnades were symbolic of the papyrus swamps. And so as you going up the river, you going up in the temple. And so as you move up in the temple, you will see stairs. Each part of the temple you go in, like the first part of the temple, you just walk in. But as you start to go up deeper into the temple, there'll be stairs, because this is symbolic that you're going up and up and up, moving further up into Africa, into the Holy of Holies. You keep going upstairs, and every stairway you come to, there's a security check, because only certain priests could go in that deep, until where you got into the innermost part of the temple, which is the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could go. Okay, that's the womb of the temple, because the temple itself is the woman. Okay, and when you go into the Holy of Holies, you'll see the gods in the Holy of Holies is the womb of the temple. And that's where the deity was born. And so when you take the temple, which is only a manifestation of the physical reality of Africa, as you go up the river into the heart of Africa, this is the womb of Africa. This is where the gods was born. So this was symbolically the Holy of Holies of Africa. So when you're going down into these temples carved into the mountain, see, this is, and so it was do you know they had to bring all of that granite up out of there? They had to carve that shit out of there, and then you had to bring it back up, and clean it out. You know what I'm saying? So they already had been into engineering on a grand level long before the pyramid. That was the development before the pyramid. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't nothing to them to bring them. You know how many goddamn stones they've been digging up out of them damn mountains? And so this is just the first level. And then you come down this stairway, you come into the next level. You see what I'm saying? And so she had 2 levels in her pyramid. I mean, in her tomb. Okay, now I know certain kings got about 5, 6, You understand what I'm saying? Where they just keep going down and down and down. So her, I think, you see northern side room. So even here, there was another room on this side. And you see burial chamber right here. So her sarcophagus would have been laid right here. You see all the writings on the wall. You see Nefertari II, you know, meeting all the great deities. And these are the prayers that needed to be said to make sure the goddess got to the other side successfully. You understand what I'm saying? Let me see. Is it one more? The antechamber, and then you see text from the chapter 17 of the Book of the Dead, frieze of the Jed, pillars and blood, the blood of Isis, cartouche before the goddess, neck back. So you see right here, no white king ever, and I'm going to end on this, ever has a tomb that has ever been found, ever, that's great as this goddess, this Empress, Nefertari II, tomb in the Valley of the Queen. Not one. I dare any cracker anywhere on the planet, even a goddamn Asian, Arab, anybody, to bring me a tomb from 1200 BC or after on this level, anywhere in the world that can compete with the superiority in technological achievement. Anywhere. Get them on the goddamn YouTube. Call them out. Bring your ass, motherfucker. Show me. There ain't none. That's why they don't want to tell you about these great African queens and empresses of the 18th dynasty and before. Don't mean that the kings did not have the same love, but they've reached a certain level of technology where the glory, the splendor has reached a level of all-time greatness. You know what I'm saying? So these kings and queens were able to show the splendor, show the glory in a way that no kings or queens previous to that could do. Okay? So, family, I just wanted to put that out there, that we've been out of power for so long, we have to show ourselves when we was in power, the things that we did, and the simple thing. You see how that Queen T was hugging that king? I got you, baby. I got you. It's all good. Look good, nigga, while you sitting up there. Look good. I got you. You know what I'm saying? Me and you. You know, that's how we roll. You know, ain't no outside energy move. You see the babies there. You see the Black Madonna. You see, you know, but while she's suckling her child, that king on them other carvings cracking them motherfucking heads. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, 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 bop. Getting on them goddamn heads, nigga. And then she could do that. And she could teach the baby, the king, the queen, what's necessary, what's expected of them. You know what I'm saying? She ain't got that. She ain't afforded that today. So it's the simple motherfucking thing. Be a man, nigga. Be a motherfucking man. I love you. You my brother. Stand up. Be a motherfucking man. Fight hard, nigga. I know the world is against you. I know this. That's why we got to be for each other, because the world is against us. And we need the energy of each other to succeed out here. All that frivolous shit, I don't involve myself in that, nigga, at all. I want to be an instrument of uplift. I have no time to be out here taking my energy and putting it somewhere where it don't even count. So look in the mirror, look at your flaws, do better. You can do it. Do better. Make a blueprint for yourself. What do I need to work? Self-evaluation, self-inventory. What do I need to work on? What do I need to get rid of? Let's do this shit today. And then let's put it to action. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. These are your ancestors. That's how I know that you can do it. Look at the blueprint of the past. Make a blueprint for the future. This is the General Sarasu Seti saying, hey, goddamn it, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. This Sunday, the 26th, right down in the video description, the dynamic duo, General Sarasu Seti, Young Pharaoh, artificial intelligence, agenda exposed. Click it. Be in there. Ain't no game. Gonna show you some shit. Ain't no game. Be there. Do it now. Don't wait. You understand what I'm saying? KingSeti.com. Check me out. Got all you need. GeneralSeti.com, Seti University. Complete General Sarasu Seti. Goddamn it, by the end of the year, it's going to be 1,000 goddamn videos, 50 different damn subjects. Complete Sarasu Seti. Join the day. General Seti Patreon, my debate page, dissecting and destroying all ideologies. General Sarasu Seti Patreon, join the day. Black Power.